All right. So Remix Club family, we're excited to announce a brand new guest to the show. We have infamous artist Lurk. Um, Lurk, before we even dive into this, are you fully doxxed? Are we going by Lurk? Are we gonna go by a different name?
Well, I mean, people know me by Lurk, but yeah, I
Okay.
think I think on all my profiles it says my name, so they can find it if they really need to. You know what I mean?
No, I love it. Before we even dive into some background on you, like where did this name come from? Where did Lurk come from?
Oh yeah, no problem, man. So I was working at a skate shop on Vancouver Island, and it was early 2000s. We had a lot of like sort of transient and homeless people coming by, and my friend that I worked with kept calling them the lurkers. So I was like, I thought it'd be funny to like paint them into paintings, not to be like cruel to the homeless or anything, but you know, they'd be stealing from us and shit. So we call them the lurkers. We had to give them a name, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, the lurkers came by. So anyway, I started like painting them into my paintings at the time and just had little speech bubbles that would say lurk. And people just started calling them lurk paintings. So I was
Oh
like,
wow.
oh, okay. The people have spoken kind of thing. They branded it for me. I mean, now the characters have nothing to do with any of that like negative start. You know what I mean? They're nothing to do with homeless people or drug
Of
addiction or anything
course.
like that, you know? But like it just stuck, right? That people like to call the creatures the lurkers, right? So I was like, oh man, that's perfect. So then I wanted to put a positive spin on it and put Lurk Loves You, which is kind of funny because I spoke to a design friend who's like, you know, he's pretty big in the design world, and he absolutely recommended against changing my name to Lurk Loves You, and that was probably 6 years ago. And I've never looked back since. I was like, okay, I'm just going to be stubborn and keep it that way, and
Look,
everybody
yeah.
seems to love it, you know. So
I love the branding. I love the name behind it. So I'm happy you made that change.
yeah, man.
So no, that's awesome. So I guess the artist behind Lurk. Can we get some background, some intro into yourself?
Yeah. So I grew up in England. I'm a kid of the 80s. I was born in like the late 70s, kid of the 80s kind of thing. So I was influenced by skateboarding and Dungeons and Dragons. And
Nice.
I remember getting like biker magazines when I was like 5 years old and looking at boobies and stuff like that and being like, what the hell? You know what I mean? So I was just influenced by that counterculture stuff, right? Like a typical lowbrow artist is. I started doing digital art in about 1989, which is crazy. Like I
Wow.
started on an Amiga and a Commodore 64. And I've kind of done digital art ever since in some form, but I've always been a painter. I studied art design, graphic design, and fine art. And then I did a 2 year tattoo apprenticeship as well. So I'm pretty well trained in the arts, but yeah, I've just been doing art shows since the 90s, basically. Moved to Canada and really just dug into the art world. And yeah, that's what I do full time. Even before the NFT thing, that's what I was doing full time.
That's really cool. What was the reason behind coming to Canada?
Ex-wife. So she was from Canada and I came over with
Got
her.
you.
Yeah.
And then you just decide to stay. Vancouver's a beautiful,
Yeah.
beautiful place.
Oh, it's amazing here, man. We have a kiddo, so I wanted to be close to my kid, but
Of
she's about
course.
to turn 18. So you know, I could pretty much move anywhere once she's out and gone to university. So we'll see. I might be on the, you know, might be traveling soon, you know?
Lurk may be on the move soon. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. And then what about the tattoo side? Have you ever actually given any tattoos or
Oh yeah. I tattooed for 18 years. I own a tattoo studio.
oh
Yeah.
you still own it? Oh
Yeah.
dude, that's unreal.
Yeah, so I just recently, I wouldn't say quit tattoo, and all I do now is if somebody comes on and wants a lurk tattoo,
Yeah.
I'll do one for them.
Yeah.
I have nerve damage in my hand from breaking my knuckle when I was younger, so
Oh,
the tattooing kind of would start to irritate it. But I can draw and paint all day, but it's the vibration of the machines. I tried all these different tattoo machines, nothing seemed to work. So I was like, okay, I got to step back from this a little bit. And I have 6 artists that work with me at my studio, so
oh,
I let them do their thing. I look after them really well, and in turn, they help pay the rent for the building and stuff like that. You know,
that's amazing. What's the name of the shop?
Electric Umbrella.
I love I love that. I gotta just put this into the archive so I remember for later to check this out.
Yeah, no worries, man.
No, that's really cool. So I love that you have when I first obviously I didn't like Google your name or anything. I was like, I love doing the interviews and just kind of seeing the artist for who you are. So I didn't know what to expect. When you have these NFTs, you don't know who's behind the profiles and all this kind of
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
So it's cool to actually like put your face to it, and I guess we're gonna dive into it now. But like your artwork is next level. Like when I saw it, like it's so different. Where did that come from? is there something that inspired you to do that, or is that just your own style that you created?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely like created over probably 20 plus years. You
Right.
know, I think I've done the math before. My first art show was 28 years ago. So yeah, I kind of, I kind of created it over the years, but it actually stemmed a lot in cubism. Like, so I was like super into Picasso when I was younger.
Okay.
But then I was mixing that with like, because I skateboarded too. So I was mixing it with skateboard art and like heavy metal art and Dungeons and Dragons art. So it all kind of mixes together. And I'm super into hip hop as well. So I'm into all the hip hop world. And you know what I mean? So I'm like, it all mixed together with like street culture, cubism. I was into cartooning. And that's kind of where and how I got to where I'm at right now. You know what I mean? Like that's how I got here. It was just, yeah, just banging all those things together. And like it took a while. I mean, you can see like one day I might try and send you some old sketches from like early
Oh,
2000s.
I love that.
You can
Yeah.
kind of see the styles forming, but it's more cubism. And then as it goes through
Yeah.
like the 2000s, it starts to get more into like what I would call like cartoon surrealism or cartoon expressionism, which is kind of what I do now. So it gets more towards that, you know?
Dude, that's really cool. I think the first time I saw like Shroom Folk, I was just like I was taken back. I was like, yo, this is like really dope artwork. And is the inspiration behind something like this like literally like how did you come up with Shroom Folks?
Yeah, so I'd always been putting, well, I shouldn't say always. I'd say in the last 10, 15 years, I was putting little shroom characters into my
Okay.
work just as like filler. And I put, as you can probably see, you get like eyes on everything, right? So I was starting to put eyes on them. Then they
Yeah.
started like kind of taking their own life, and I was like, oh, okay, so this is cool. This is their thing. Like this is like separate to my other creatures. So then I started like building on that and building on that and building on that, and then I got into like microdosing mushrooms a while ago. I'm actually a sober person technically, but I call myself California sober. So like
There you go.
I'm not scared of a little bit of weed and I'm not scared of the
Yep.
mushrooms kind of thing. So, as long
Yep.
as I don't drink alcohol all day. But yeah, so I just kind of developed from that. And you just reminded me to turn my phone off too.
Yeah,
Uh,
my fault.
yeah. And the shrooms, like I wanted to like, because microdosing it, I get a lot of anxiety as I got older.
Okay. Yep.
So shrooms had helped me a lot, right? So I felt like when I did my first bigger PFP project, which I'd done a couple of smaller stuff, but this is my first like big one. I kind of wanted to really like respect the shrooms. So I thought, yeah, I'm going to do that. And actually, all of the shrooms are like have subtle nods to 80s movies or 80s references, but they're very subtle. They're not on the nose, right? So there's just little things there that I came in from my childhood. I put into the shroom folk as well.
Cool.
And, I just didn't want to be like totally on the nose with 80s references, like have a total like Rambo one or something like that. You know what I mean? But like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying though, right? So just like little subtle things like that, even just in the colors and stuff like that, you know?
No, it's really cool, really, really unique. And then I guess I should have stepped back and asked you this first, but like, you know, having done art for so long, right? Like, what is your thoughts on NFTs and like this whole new world that we're stepping into? Like, what does that mean to you? And why, I guess, why did you want to dive in?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like let's be honest. Like a lot of people came to me and said, you can make money at this. Interestingly, my
Yep.
wife came up to me. My wife was already starting to invest into like cryptocurrency here and there.
Okay.
And I was just doing my paintings. And she said, hey, like, you can sell artwork for this cryptocurrency. And I was like, what? That's insane. Like, how? And she's like, so she kind of like watched a video. I think it was like about OpenSea. Anyway, about a week later, my homie, you've probably heard his name in the space, Pop Wonder,
Oh yeah.
he hit me up and was like, yo, dude, like your artwork is perfect for NFTs. He's like, I just sold one for like $1,000. You need to get your artwork in there and like broaden like your range of what you can, like people you can get stuff to. So
Yeah.
so there definitely was like, I mean, in total brutal honesty, there was a money element. And
Yep.
after the money element, I just really started to like the community. As a person that's done art shows like kind of all over the world, technically, I've met great people. I've met great people through Facebook, Instagram, in real life, but the actual community for NFTs is huge. And I think it's actually one of the things that really genuinely bums me out when I hear people like fudding it that don't know anything about NFTs, like, oh, the environment, it's just a bunch of bros. It's like, yeah, that is a part of it for sure.
Yep.
But there's actually such a nice, loving, caring community that actually just want to support you. I don't think like all the time people buy my stuff to flip it. I think they just want to support me. They just want to buy something and keep it, you know what I mean? Because they really, really like it. And if it goes up, it goes up. That's great. But I think like these people on the outside that are big naysayers, like I feel almost, I was saying this to somebody the other day, I feel bad for them almost at their anger. Like I feel bad that they don't understand that like there's this huge world other than just like the Bored Apes and the bros and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
There's a whole community for anybody and everybody that wants to get involved, all cultures, races, like sexual orientation, like all of, I think it's, as you know, we've had some problems recently in this space, but overall it's extremely inclusive, like for anybody that wants to get into it, and anybody can kind of make it in the space. And I think that's huge. So for me, like the community part of it is what kept me in it. You know, and I've learned some things with communities like anybody. I've started some communities that, you know, they ran their course, got a little too dramatic, so I pulled out of those and started some other stuff. You got to preserve your mental health, but I still stay in the community and I still like support people, retweet people, buy people's work. You know what I mean? I actually said this morning to somebody, I was like, I've actually got to start selling some NFTs again because I'm in a buy-in swing right now, and if I keep going this way, I'm going to have nothing left to like in my wallet. You know what I mean? So, so I just honestly, the community is one of the best communities I've come across, and I know there's a lot of fakeness. I know there's a lot of problems, but for all of those people, I think there's 1,000, 100,000 good people, you know? And the media's not talking about those people. The media's not talking about the person that's like just bought their mama house.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know?
It's always negativity that's being brought up, which is that makes tough. But I love that you said that, because I think for me too, like the community side is what's been so amazing, right? Like, you know, we'll talk about this soon, but even just like the Remix family, like, you know, the fact that you can connect with these cool people and start to build out new projects, new experiences, and you literally don't know them, I'm assuming. You know, we're just people all over the world, right? We never met before.
Word.
Like I said, there's really dope, cool people like building stuff. I think that's what's exciting. And I just thought of this when you were saying that, like, to me, NFTs is kind of like TikTok, because like anybody can blow up on TikTok. There's people we've never seen before that are millionaires because of TikTok. That's kind of how I see NFTs. Like you said, anyone could come on, build a really cool project, have a good community, and make a living. You know, you don't have to become a millionaire, but they can make good money. So
that's so
cool,
true, man.
I love that.
Yeah, I remember actually, there was an interview I watched on TV. It was like some sort of talk show, like a late night talk show. And it was around about 2004, 2005. It was right when YouTube was just coming out and actually starting to get some like solid ground. I can't remember the date was exact, but you know what I mean? Like early days. And I remember the person that was talking about it, who was claiming to be, you know, kind of a futurist and like kind of a tech person, said straight up, celebrities from movies won't matter as much anymore within 10 years. And he couldn't have been more right. And the like the person that was like interviewing was like, I don't think so. Like, because he's worried about his job. He's in the TV industry. Course, he's like, but they're like, no, like straight up, your average person will be the new celebrity. And they couldn't have been more right.
100%. Because it's like I said, like this whole new digital world, and like just being able to create nothing from scratch. Like, for example, like if I love your artwork, you are the celebrity to me. It isn't like these, you know, and you know, so that's just why it's so much fun. Like, you know, and Bored Apes is doing a good job of that. Like the apes itself are the celebrities, right? And it's just so different. It's like flipping it on its head. But that's why it's exciting to see like a diverse amount of people getting into this space, because obviously a lot of people don't understand what's happening. But for us who get it, who are experiencing it, we're seeing the potential and the opportunity. And you know, we're diving in early to test the waters, you know, before anyone else.
Which and we're not diving in hating things because we're understanding it, because we're within the community. I mean, look at Bored Apes. I'm stoked for Bored Apes. Like, I know I refer to it as like a bro thing, but there is that element to it. But Bored Apes itself, they've done amazing. Like they're a shining example of doing really, really, really well. And you've got to be stoked on them. I can't understand when people are putting hate on them, but a lot of human things are coming out. A lot of human emotions are coming out. And jealousy tends to be one of those bigger ones. And I think that's what's happening in the media a lot. A lot of these news stories, I think there's just a little bit of jealousy, because I feel that like nobody cared about NFTs really until Beeple sold that first one for like 69 million or something, whatever it was. It was like some crazy amount. Yeah. Then all of a sudden we're talking about the environment, and then we're talking about like who's behind it and blah, blah. It's like, as soon as there's money involved, people start paying attention.
Everybody wants the piece of the pie, man.
Yeah, negative or positive, right?
Exactly. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, so before we dive into this next thing with Remix Club and our new project,
sure.
You kind of mentioned you've done, I think, art shows or exhibits all over the world.
Sure. Yeah.
Can you kind of touch on some of the places you've been and showcased?
Yeah, so I've shown in quite a few cities in England. I've
Yeah.
had work travel through Europe and the States. I've also shown in multiple places in Canada, both like Montreal, Vancouver. I've had some stuff in Calgary, I think, once. I can't remember. And obviously the island where I live, a few different cities on the island. And down in the States, I've done LA and Chicago and Portland. So yeah,
Beautiful.
I mean, a lot of the times, like even if I can't attend the show, like say the stuff in Europe, it was like that traveled around with some shoes that I painted, and it was this book that got released, and it was like, back in the day when we released a book with artists in it, and like everybody had to like submit artwork, and it
Yeah.
actually physically traveled around the world, which is actually probably worse for the environment. But anyway, let's not get into that. But yeah, so yeah, I've done like quite a lot of stuff. I've had like magazine releases. I've done music videos for hip hop artists, stuff like that.
Sweet.
Yeah, I did shoes for Britney Spears once, like hand painted a pair of shoes for Britney Spears, which is like
Whoa.
super random. And I actually had my own shoe released with a company called Etnies, which is a
Oh
skateboard
yeah, I
company.
know Ednies. You had your own
Yeah,
shoe?
yeah.
Whoa, that's really dope. That's like a little while back. That's not for sale anymore, I'm assuming.
No, it's long gone. Yeah, came out about 7 years ago. Yeah.
Oh, that's huge. That's unreal.
Yeah, yeah, it was fun, man. Yeah, I've made toys. Like I've got like, little, I've had like toys made, stuff like that.
Oh,
Like,
what? That's
yeah,
awesome.
yeah, yeah. So I've done quite a few things. My next
Cool.
big thing that I want to do past NFTs is I was talking to a friend the other day, and I'd like to do a video game for sure, like a side-scrolling, like Sega Genesis
Yeah,
style.
throwback.
Yeah, video game would be really cool. So maybe in the next couple of years that'll come out.
Cool. Yeah, I love where your head's at. I love where you're trying to evolve to. So that's really cool. That's exciting. Um, so let's dive into Lurk's Mutant Ape Colony a little bit.
Yeah.
Our new upcoming collab with Remix Club. Why don't you kick it off? What's the concept? Where did this come from? This idea?
So Tim had actually hit me up and said, because we'd worked together already on the original like
Right.
Down Remix Club, and we'd seemed to have got along well. And he hit me up and said, "Hey, I really like some of your full-bodied characters. It'd be really cool to see like a full-bodied ape." And I was like, "Oh yeah, I guess nobody's actually really like doing that I've seen. I'm assuming there is. Don't get me wrong, and I
For
can be
sure.
corrected.
Yeah.
I guess there's a million ape derivative
So
projects."
many.
But I personally, I hadn't seen any. So then he's like, "What about some mutants?" And I was like, "Well, that would work perfect." And he sent me one of my images that he really liked. It was called the ETH Mage. It's on my verified OpenSea collection. So he sent me that one, and he said, "Yeah, I kind of like this body position, and they're kind of hunched over and creepy looking." And I was like, "Well, that's perfect for a mutant ape because apes kind of hunch over a lot anyway."
Yep.
And monkeys and like primates in general, and like I know an ape's not, but you know what I'm saying. But so I was like, yeah, the hunch kind of works, and then I just took a lot of the elements that were in the mutant apes, and I kind of wanted to like not copy them, but complement them in the body stuff, like the different
Right.
bodies that I created in arms. I'm not sure if you've seen a bunch of them, but like there's a
Yeah.
whole like bunch of really fun parts that I put together. I think I did something close to 200 traits, getting up there anyway. So there's a lot of different
Amazing.
traits. Yeah, I can't remember. I'd have to look because there's lots of different backgrounds and stuff like that. So yeah, I just wanted to like, let's see what these things look like zoomed out. It's not exactly a profile pic. You could use them in your profile pics for sure,
Of course.
but it's more like let's concentrate on a little bit of the art of it as well, and like putting some detail into a full body of one of these weirdo creatures. Like what happens when you do the zoom out? Is it just stood there like a human? No, it's like a weird, like morphed creature that's bent and twisted. And I think that was like really like my main goal. Obviously, I use a lot of the palettes that I use, which
Yeah.
tend to lean more towards pastel sort of colors in lots of ways. Not like really light pastels, but I'm not like primary color, so it kind of worked perfectly. And I redrew every single head that I did for them. So I kind of redrew every head that worked in that style. And yeah, I did it so it was like a mix and match. And one of the things that I did, because I'd learned from Shroom folks so much when I did that project, was sometimes just a color change can be big, but if you're going to do a
Yeah.
color change, just add a few extra spikes here and there and do a few extra things. But also in the color changes, and one things that I hope people will discover is all of the colors work together, even if they're mix and match. And where that came from was actually my love of Japanese toys, like Safubi kaiju toys. I really love like sometimes when they paint them with airbrushes, there's a certain style, and I can't remember what it's called, but like they overspray all the areas so they don't actually try to paint it accurately. And that's kind of the vibe I was going with some of the coloring for the mutant apes. Like I wanted
Interesting.
them to feel that they were like kind of they work together, but it's not matching. You know what I mean? But I thought that was
Yeah,
kind of cool in a sense. It looks like you just mix and match in a creature, and it brings this weird thing out. You know?
that's unreal. I literally pulled up the ETH Mage just to kind of look at it, but I remember seeing obviously some of the concepts and teasers you posted. And we'll share those on a future interview with everyone wondering what we're talking about right now. But yeah, when I saw it, I was like, oh, this is like so different and unique. The first thing I thought, I didn't think, yeah, I didn't think PFP, even though you could, but I was like, man, like a piece of art or like a big back print on a hoodie or t-shirt. I was like, this would be
Right?
so cool to rock around.
Yeah,
Um,
man.
because everyone's gonna be like, what the heck is this?
Well, I'm hoping that can be done with them.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I know
that'd be
100%. I
cool.
think that's something we'll have to look at and see. But no, I think this is exciting. Like this is just a kind of an intro, like a basic intro to like who is Lurk and what you're all about, and briefly kind of hinting at this project. Obviously, we'll do some more hopefully some Twitter Spaces and another interview once things are actually ready to give a full breakdown of traits, artwork, roadmap, rewards, and all that kind of stuff that we're going to build in. But I guess for right now, is there anything that you want to tease or anything that you want to share at this point, or should we save that for a future
Yeah, I mean,
video?
let's save it for the future video. I mean, I just want to like make sure I'm not like giving away something we shouldn't give
Of
away.
course, of course. No,
I know one thing I can say is that in the mix of all of these that I've done, there's 3 one of ones. So I actually
okay.
went in and just made 3 completely different one of ones that were a bit more rendered and look different to all the rest of the ones in the collection. So some lucky people are going to get those 3 one of ones when they mint. And other than that, though, I think like just if you know me and you know my art that I'm into and what I do, I'm not going to disappoint. I like even my generative projects, like even with the Shroom folk, each one looks like a one of one,
Yeah.
and that's what I'm going for. Like I'm not just trying to throw together artwork really fast. I'm trying to like make it look like, you got your money's worth,
Yeah, I think that's what makes it so special. So this is exciting, man. It was like I said, it's cool to like be able to connect with you and meet you. And obviously, I think we'll make some more content as this rolls out. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to showing everyone what this is going to look like because I think they're going to be, really excited to see everything.
Word.
So thank you so much for your time. I'm looking forward to this.
No problem, man. Thank you.